Hey folks, welcome back to 508 Reality Check, the show where we break down real-life accessibility lawsuits, the ones that cost businesses big, so you don't end up in next week's episode. Let me tell you about a case that just came down. And if you own a website, this one matters. A federal court in New York recently dismissed a website accessibility lawsuit, not because the claim was weak, not because the plaintiff gave up, but because the defendant proved something very important. Their website was already accessible. And they didn't just say it, they proved it with evidence, technical evidence, unrebutted evidence, which means the plaintiff couldn't challenge it. And once the court saw that there were no accessibility barriers left to fix, the case was over, dismissed as moot. Now let's break that down in plain English. Under ADA Title III, most of these lawsuits are not about money. They're about fixing a problem. So if there is no problem, there is no case. That's what moot means. No issue to resolve, no lawsuit to continue. But here's the real takeaway, and this is where most businesses get it wrong. They think accessibility is about effort. They say things like, "We're working on it. We installed a widget. We plan to fix it soon." None of that holds up in court. What worked in this case was proof, documentation, validation, a defensible position. Let me say that again. It wasn't intention. It was evidence. And that's where the game is changing. Courts, especially in New York, are starting to look harder at these cases. They're asking better questions. They're expecting real proof. And when that proof exists, they're dismissing cases. But don't get comfortable, because at the same time, thousands of these lawsuits are still being filed every year. So the risk is still very real. Here's the bottom line. If your website is accessible and you can prove it, you have a powerful defense. But if you can't prove it, you're exposed. Accessibility isn't a plugin, it isn't a checkbox, and it definitely isn't something you get to later. It's risk management, backed by evidence. And when that demand letter shows up, the only question that matters is this: can you prove it? Most organizations don't ignore digital accessibility on purpose. They simply don't know where their risk actually lives. They hear words like WCAG, Section 508, ADA lawsuits, and it all sounds technical, abstract, and overwhelming. So they delay, they delegate, or they hope it won't become a problem. Until it does. Accessibility doesn't have to be confusing, and risk doesn't have to be invisible. With the right framework, you can see it clearly, prioritize intelligently, and move forward with confidence. Learn more at 508helpdesk.com.